And we welcome you back to the Talk Shop, this Candidate Awareness Tour 2026 with Merav Ben David. She's running for Albany County Commissioner in the 2026 election cycle. Early voting begins July 21st, and August 18th will be the primary election day in Wyoming. Albany County, part of that election process. Merav, you took part in a recent forum last week held by the Albany County League of Women Voters in Laramie, Wyoming at the Albany County Public Library. Fantastic panel, great question, complex questions asked of each of you candidates. Was there anything, given 90 seconds, you might have been the most proficient at staying within your time and answering things succinctly, directly, succinctly, but surely you, Merav Ben David, could expand on any one of those topics. I want to give you the opportunity to do just that. Was there a question that was asked, that was posed to the panel, that you would maybe like to take an opportunity today and expand on?
Definitely. And thank you for the opportunity. The main issue that the most cards and questions came to the moderator from the audience was regarding data centers. And as we all are becoming aware, data centers are exploding. I will tell you that in 2026 alone...
Exploding in growth.
In growth, yes. And the number, the size, the
proposed,
capacity,
right.
The capacity to handle data. I'll tell you that I saw an estimate online that in 2026 alone, more money was put into, twice as much money was put into building new data centers in the U.S. than all other infrastructure in all states.
Where'd that money come from?
Most of it from billionaires and trillionaires now. A lot of it is privately funded. But again, here is where a county commissioner comes in. These companies come in and convince the commission that they're going to bring jobs and they're not going to use a lot of water and they are going to generate their own electricity and there's nothing to worry about. Let us build a data center in your county. That's where the county commission can come in and say, whoa, wait a second. Show me how much water you actually going to use. And how are you going to deal with the produced water? Because even when you're trying to be efficient and not use fresh water, you're using some coolant to add, like we do in the cars, glycol or whatever, a car coolant. You're going to discharge the excess somewhere. What is going to be in it and where is it going to go? How are you going to mitigate it? This is not something new to Wyoming. We have been dealing with produced water from oil and gas fields. We know how to regulate these things. So this is where a county commissioner comes and say, whoa, I know these regulations for oil and gas. You tell me, give me exactly the same and pay the same way the oil and gas industry pays.
What impact studies would be important to you prior to letting a development come in of any kind, be it wind, solar, or data centers? What would it be?
I'm glad you mentioned wind, because if you remember the Realty Wind project by Ty Sidings, I wasn't in any decision-making position, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it because the company that proposed it and actually got the permits didn't do their homework. They couldn't answer any of the wildlife concern questions that I had. Not only that, they couldn't answer my questions, how much electricity are you going to generate and where are you going to sell it for how much and how much are you going to pay me, the county, for it? And that was before I was even on a commission. And so I kept saying, we shouldn't give them a permit. We shouldn't give them a permit because they're not addressing.
Were you heard?
Eagle.
Were you listened to?
No.
Did the commissioners hear you?
No.
What year was this?
That was 5 years ago. And not only that, the minute this company got the permit, they actually sold it to another company. We don't even know who they are. No, I'm 100% renewable energy because of climate change. You will not hear me say anything. And I'm not even opposed to wind farm necessarily if they're done right. But where is a study on golden eagles? Where is a study of winter range effects on pronghorn and deer and migration routes? I come from the ecosystem perspective. We are all part of an ecosystem. We have to take care of us. And so that's what I'm saying. If a data center, if a company comes to Albany County and I'm a commissioner, and I have foresight, I want to see how you're going to deal with all the potential environmental impacts you have.
A 360-degree view.
I'll tell you this. Data centers are part of our lives. And as much as we don't like the concept and definitely don't like the possibility of them monitoring our everyday life and taking advantage of us by...
You're talking surveillance aspect.
Surveillance. Let me tell you this. My dogs who visited you, ruined your studio last time I was here, I have GPS collars on them.
They're chipped, yeah.
Not a chip. A GPS collar that tracks their movements, so if they go
after... you have it in the collar mechanism, okay.
I have, the collars contain a GPS unit. Many millions of dog owners have those. They count their steps, they tell you where they are, they tell you if they're licking or barking, or, so if you have a barking dog, you put one of those in, you get notice that your dog is barking too much, you can go home and change things so the neighbors don't get upset. It's an amazing app. Millions of people, dog owners, have the app, including a lot of people here in Laramie. We have our own community of FI users. It's a data center. The data is, the amount, people put videos of their dogs, pictures of I don't do that much, but other people put a video of their dogs every day. Mm-hmm. This is a huge amount of data. Where is it handled? In a data center. We use data centers all the time. Whether we want to or not, they have become a huge part of our lives. They have to go somewhere, but we can push them. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez just proposed a bill to have a moratorium on data centers nationwide for 2 years until we figure out how to do them correctly, because they are exploding. Their growth is explosive. I say right now in Albany County, we don't have water for ourselves, let alone a data center. So right now there is a de facto moratorium. But that doesn't mean we can't have one if we hold them accountable for potential damage, but also have them pay us something back. Right?
Right.
Having a wind farm where all the electricity goes to Colorado doesn't us nothing except the damage. But having a data center that mitigated all the effects, and then more, we can have what is called community benefits agreements. We can let them have a data center somewhere in Albany.
You're talking about prescribing the outcomes for a community.
Absolutely. I don't want you to generate your own electricity. I want you to generate your own electricity and the rest of the county. And if it takes putting solar panels on the roofs of every building in Albany County, you'll pay for it.
You're suggesting modernizing our infrastructure through development.
Yes. What a concept. After you address all the ecosystem and wildlife issues. I'll tell you something. As a wildlife ecologist who closely monitors the issues related to the path of the pronghorn in western Wyoming, deer migration, we have a huge problem with pronghorn migration. The pronghorn in Albany County used to migrate across the valley and take advantage of good winter habitat and then move up into higher sagebrush areas in the summer. They can't do that anymore because we have I-80. They get smashed on the road all the time, and it hurts people.
What's your solution for that? You've got it. I heard it the other night. You have a solution.
Yes. If we let anybody build a data center after they mitigated all the impact in Albany County, they have to build 2 wildlife overpasses over I-80 in places that the researchers at the university identified as bottlenecks.
That's crazy talk. You're going to make me put a overpass for wildlife? That has nothing to do with my business proposal, Merav.
You can't have it.
You're talking hard negotiation. In all sincerity, what you're talking about is hard negotiation. It's actually the public's best interest, is what you're saying. Is that not what you're saying?
That is. You want something. I'll tell you what I think about oil and gas development in Wyoming. We don't charge them enough. Yes,
Simply stated.
Yeah. They are paying the least of all states.
Oh, but if we don't, well, devil's advocate, if we don't charge them this amount, they're going to go somewhere else. Wyoming's going to be closed for business. Have you heard Wyoming's going to be closed for business?
I've heard that before, and that's because people who sit on the other... Look, when you think about... I don't want to talk about it, but think about the Iran war and negotiation between the U.S. and Iran. You have to have the cards in your hand. You want something, you pay for it. Okay? That's in every negotiation. The problem why Wyoming is not charging, like, look at at what kind of oil they get out of the tar sands in Canada. Shitty oil. We have way higher quality oil. And they're still doing it in Canada. Why? They have no choice. They need it. I'm saying they need us. They need our oil. The only reason we are not getting more, all the other states get more than we do, is because the people on that side of the state, the table, own the oil and gas companies and have stocks in them. So they're not
motivated.
Yeah.
Not motivated.
We can get way more for what we produce.
Data centers have impact on power, water, tax revenue. If not making it an easy road for data centers, you're not opposed to data centers. You're just particular and specific with respect to what you expect as a potential commissioner for the public. You're representing the people.
I am representing the people and the ecosystem that we are part of. It's all connected. You can't separate the things. Yes.
Do residents deserve clear answers about electricity demand, water use, infrastructure costs, who ultimately pays for necessary upgrades to such a degree that non-disclosures...
How many jobs are actually... Because really...
What's the real outcome? What are we really looking at?
I've seen articles by people opposing data centers, and one of them wrote, I went to visit a data center to learn more, and the only person working there was the guard at the gate. It's all automated.
Do you hear conversation about mitigating the cleanup of a data center, a solar farm, a wind power site, you name it? We have mitigation, reclamation that's frankly doesn't please everyone, as it is with oil and gas, fossil fuel extraction. Where do you stand as a commissioner candidate?
This is part of the agreement, the community benefits agreements. If you end up stuck with a pile, a heap of trash at the end, and you have to pay for cleanup, that is the problem. You are giving your resource and then get stuck. And in Wyoming, we get stuck with a bill all the time with coal mines, with oil and gas. We have not written those agreements properly. and they can be written properly. We don't even need to invent the wheel. Other people have done it before. All we need is to apply it to Wyoming. And as a county commissioner, this would be my job. Make sure that the community is looked after. And look, in the community, there will be different needs, and different people may benefit or not benefit from any development. You know, the people who will have to put the gravel, they'll benefit. If they hire a local gravel company, these people will make money on the short term, of course. The builders, if they hire local building companies, they'll make money on the short term. So those people, the people who sell construction supplies, will benefit on the short term. So even within the community, you have to balance, you know, the benefits to the individuals and the benefits or harm to the community. And this balancing act needs to happen with information and with understanding, the ability, a foresight of, okay, 15 years down the road, what is going to happen? Just like the fairgrounds. Why was that agreement done for 100 years? Do it for 5. See how that works. You know, have ways to end this agreement. You know what I mean? And to do that, you do need great lawyers, but the lawyers need to know what is the community need, what is the plan for the future.
One of the most important aspects that I think tells a lot of the story in answering your question is who benefits.
Yep.
When you ask the question, who benefits, all of a sudden the horizon of clarity presents itself.
And I would even say more, there are different steps along the timeline. Some people will benefit initially, some people will benefit later. Everybody may be harmed later. You know, the one person who benefits today from putting gravel down may not have water in 15 years. Okay, so
what are the costs and the benefits?
the costs and benefits on a time scale. And I think the problem with politics, we elect people for 2 years, for 4 years. These people don't necessarily look at 15 years down the line. What will happen in Laramie, Wyoming, if we build 10,000 new homes within the next 5 years? Not that it's going to happen, but let's assume. What is going to happen in 20 years? Can we provide water to all the city and county with this additional 10,000 units? Funny. We have 23,000 dogs in Laramie today. You add 10,000 new households, that's another 16,000 dogs. Funny dogs, dog parks. Merav is crazy about dog parks. Right. But if you look at the numbers and the strain on the resources, the animal shelter gets dog surrenders because people can't handle them in an apartment.
Multi-unit, dense housing, not as conducive to animal.
This is just a
care.
small example,
Yeah.
and has nothing to do with my campaign for county commissioner, but it's an example of how one needs to think.
Right.
Yes, we do need affordable housing. Yes, we do need affordable housing. Can we support it as a community in all aspects of quality of life? Okay?
In other words, is Albany County prepared for tomorrow in the directions that people talk about wanting us to go?
We are trying to get there. We are trying to get there.
Right. You were talking earlier about public lands. Let's not forget public land conversation. How does that involve your campaign with respect to public lands, if you would.
So Albany County has a lot of public lands. We have Forest Service control over the Laramie Range and the Snowy Range. The main sources of water in Albany County, the Laramie Range and the Snowy Range, as I said before, aquifer, Laramie River. We have to protect public lands. We have to protect them because they are the recharge zone for the aquifer and they're the snowpack for the river. Even without the drought we have and projected to have for the next who knows how many years, we have to protect them. We can't have any development within what we have now, okay? Especially the Snowy Range, but also the Laramie Range and foothills. How does a county commissioner protect public land? And not to mention a lot of we have wildlife refuges, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Refuges, that control a lot of the small lakes and wetlands. And we have a lot of BLM land in Albany County, all of the federal. How does a county commissioner protect public lands in Albany County? Well, you work with these federal agencies, which we are not really doing right now. When I have a development proposal in front of me, I ask all kinds of agencies, YDOT, the Laramie River Water District, all kinds of entities for their input on a development. Okay? I ask Game and Fish for their input on, impact on wildlife. But I don't talk to the federal agencies involved. That needs to change. Another part of my experience that I bring to the table that the commission does not have at the moment is that I have worked with these federal agencies for years, decades. I know the regulations, I know how they work, I know how to talk to them, I know how to bring state, university, county, federal agencies together to address issues.
How is speaking of relationships, the city of Laramie operates inside Albany County. Where does your role potentially go in terms of being an advocate for all of Albany County, where Albany County residents outside of the city limits of Laramie, the city of Laramie, do not have elected representation on city council?
So, excellent point. I live outside of city limits. I'm a county resident. I have my own well and my own septic system, which I maintain at the best level possible, given that my house is older than myself. But I keep it as best as possible and got good grades on my septic system recently from the guys who pump it out. So I'm fully aware of water issues, toxic and waste issues, and also the fact that, the city has a lot more power because most of the people live inside city limits. So I have the perspective of someone who lives in a county, but also we are all of the people in the city of Laramie are county constituents, and they vote for us. Before the current commission, the previous one was more liberal and progressive and felt the need to work with the city more closely, which was great. So when I started on the Planning and Zoning Commission, we had a different county commissioner, and it was a pleasure because they actually had a representative of the commission sitting on planning and zoning meetings and know what we discuss and what issues we raise as concerns. This does not happen anymore, which is unfortunate because many times we make a decision based on a really thorough discussion, open to the public, listen to people. Airbnbs and Centennial, we listen to every single person. It goes to the commission and they make a decision without knowing what we discussed, which is not very good. But the previous commission was very engaged, very careful in their deliberation and paying attention to our deliberation. And they worked with the city a lot better. There was a lot more coordination. The Laramie Area Growth Plan was initiated by the city and county saying, okay, we want to protect a lot of wide open space in Albany County. Public lands are important to us. Even within privately owned landscapes, we want to have working landscapes. We want to have ranchers, we want to have wildlife access, etc. And so the Laramie Area Growth Plan was developed. I actually voted against it because I didn't think it was comprehensive enough. It was mostly about water and sewage. There was no, recreation got one sentence. School, they said, the school district will take care of this. So I didn't like the written plan.
It lacked the depth for you to be
It
comfortable
wasn't
with
comprehensive enough for me. But I liked the concept and the idea that we work together to identify the areas within the city's limits and in the county surrounding where we can have high-density development, industrial, commercial, whatever it is, housing, of course. And then what regulation do we put out in the county to make sure we have wide open spaces and maintain our wildlife habitats, etc. So we need to go back to that. I say upgrade the plan and make it more comprehensive, but we do need to work together. What I bring to the table is I've seen how the previous commission worked and what the city and county were able to accomplish working together instead of butting heads, while maintaining and caring for the rights of all residents of Albany County, city and outside of the city. But I also bring something else. I have worked in leadership positions at the University of Wyoming. And we have an opportunity with a new incoming president. I have to say that I was very disappointed with the current one, and he knows it. But we have an opportunity to open more channels of discussion with huge water use. The university uses a lot of water with, construction, with owning vacant land in town that could be used for other things. I'm not talking about housing. I'm talking about recreation. Okay?
What do you think of the recent determinations of blight areas, qualifying landowners, private property owners for tax incremental financing within the city of Laramie or even Albany County, should that come on a future date?
I would say we have a lot of blighted areas in the city of Laramie and Albany County within the areas that we would like to develop, obviously not on the aquifer or around wetlands, but a lot of the land is actually belongs to the school district that could really use the money. I'd say let's not do anything like that, which happened on the Greenbelt, where we have a wetland, where we have a river, where we have something that is hugely important to people and wildlife. I think the blighting designation on that specific parcel was wrong.
32 acres adjacent to the Laramie River between Garfield and Snowy Range Road.
And I voted, and I testified to the city council 3 times against it. And they didn't listen, unfortunately. Blighting designation, we have enough blighted land that belongs publicly, that can benefit the school district, that can benefit the city, that can benefit the county. I'll give you an example. The county just got the 6 pence tax. The county doesn't have land, a parcel of land to build a new administrative building on. That is crazy. So my point is, sure, we can take advantage of programs like the housing urban development for money, but not to do it in irresponsible ways or places. And I don't mind giving it to private people. I'm all for it, but don't put it in critically important habitats. There are enough places in Laramie to do that.
There was much discussion, and land swaps were suggested by citizens. Public hearings were not issued respecting the full rights of citizens to be advised accurately of through a public notice of a November 18th, 2025 meeting. Is that the kind of process that you believe instills trust in government?
Yeah. Let me tell you that I hate to bring the dog park again, but
it's a great example across many topics. Let's face it.
It's a great example.
Surprise people, but it really is.
There is a 94-acre parcel right by the Greenbelt that belongs to Amoco, and apparently
along Cedar Street. Between Cedar Street and McHugh, with the river being in between.
Exactly, and across from the new Napa.
Yeah, yeah.
It is already fenced.
Mm-hmm. It's already what?
Fenced.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't need 94 acres dog park, but I'm saying this is a parcel that makes absolutely sense to be for public use. Did you hear?
Does the contamination prevent? Is that area has been blocked off for my entire life in Laramie, Wyoming, and that spans since.
Have you seen the reports? Have you seen the data? Has anybody held a public hearing to talk about it?
Interestingly enough,
yes,
I looked for the brownfield study on the 32-acre parcel that is owned by 4G Enterprises along the Laramie River that was recently designated blight area. Now, when going to the city of Laramie site, there's a West Side Vision project link to the brownfield study. Now, you're taken not to the brownfield study data, you're taken to a summary. You're taken to approximately an 8-page summarization of the data. I wanted to see the actual data that the conclusions were drawn from by somebody else. I wanted to re-review those. Upon asking Philip Gabathuller at City Planning Department in the Boomerang office where their annex is right now, I was told early April that I would need to do a public records request. And
that's wrong.
So here's the thing. I don't find that information is easily accessible as it should be for public trust and public transparency. I want to go one further. I did due diligence, as suggested, to contact the Department of Environmental Quality for the state of Wyoming. Here's your dilemma there. Do you know how to describe it? Do you know, if I had I asked the gentleman, I said, do I need a geopin? Do I need what descriptor? Is it street? Is it adjacency? Is it longitude, latitude? What do I need to well, that's not even entirely a yes-no question to the DEQ.
So here's my frustration with the city water department. When I can get a daily, minute-by-minute level of water in the Casper Aquifer from the USGS, and I can get an annual online summary from the State Engineering Office, I can't get online access to the city water department data. I can ask for it, but I can't click a button and get it. That needs to change, and I think that's one of the things that
Is
will
that-
help us plan into the future.
Is that control part of what inhibits the relationship between city, county, and state in Wyoming?
Possibly. I wouldn't be surprised. I think it goes always. I don't think.
Yeah, it's
there's-
multi-directional, right? It's not a one-way
it's not a
deal.
Not one entity is to be blamed.
Blamed, right? Yeah, it's shared. It's a shared proposition. Back to the Amico space, that lines Cedar Street, what would be, I believe, Curtis Street, and Snowy Range is part.
It's huge.
The ice house, that warehouse district of Murdoch's,
Murdoch's.
and the river. That is a massive space. Would that not be an uncontested space for some kind of development? Are you aware of what contamination prohibits development there?
So like you, I don't know exactly. People tell me, "Oh, it's a really dangerous place," and I'm like, "Not more than the greenbelt." You know, the end part of the greenbelt.
It's okay to walk by there. It's
Yeah.
okay for the deer to roll
Yeah.
through there.
I
Do
don't
we have
know.
do we have a Wyoming toad in and along the Laramie River here?
We do, and the parcel below it.
Not one wildlife impact study was done before moving forward with tax incremental financing steps on that 32 acres of 4G Enterprises.
Not that I know of.
Not one wildlife impact study. Not one. Should
I offered to mentor students in doing something, but as you know, the decision
did the
was made.
students take you up on it? Were they excited for the opportunity?
No, the decision was made before
Oh, okay.
I even had a chance to contact
So
you.
was the public brought in early enough to the possibilities of what could, or was the path predetermined seemingly well in advance?
I will say that I've learned about it inadvertently in a Progressive Voter Alliance meeting. I wasn't aware of it before, and I was shocked when I heard about it, to be honest. I'm not a city resident. Definitely I don't live in the west side, but I felt that it was a huge mistake environmentally, and as I said, being part of the ecosystem, that parcel should have been protected as part of a wetland overlay that I'm talking about for the entire county, and not go through that blighting decision.
As an Albany County
I
Commissioner,
know that the City Council believes strongly, and I believe that they have been convinced somehow that it gives them more control on what will happen with the parcel. But to be honest, how can it even be blighted when you have a running business on it? Blighted means there is nothing on it. No roads, no lights, no building, no nothing. There is a lively business, and I'm all about having the people make money. I buy from them occasionally, but I'm saying that decision was wrong, in my opinion, and I'm disappointed that despite the multiple hearings that I attended, and I didn't even attend all of them, you guys attended more, that no one listened to you.
do you feel that non-disclosure agreements are appropriate instruments to sign as an elected official?
Absolutely not. I am, as an elected official, even as an appointed official, I'm an appointed official right now. I'm a vice chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. My responsibility is to the public. There is nothing that I should be holding, except for if I know something about the person's personal life, like a health situation or something. That's obviously private. But anything that has public interest, I have no right to withhold information. No right.
What's your response with respect to state rights, federal rights, and local community rights to county rights?
Again, and I've learned it the hard way even in wildlife management, in every situation there are different needs, different beneficiaries, and different people pay the price. And it's a very, very, very delicate balance. And the only way to make decision, you never make a decision everybody will be happy about, but the only way to minimize the costs to everyone is by gathering all the information you can. And when you have non-disclosure, when you have things done behind the scenes, when you have decision made by a city councilman walking into the city manager's office and they're talking about it themselves without sharing publicly, even though the decision is not made, it's already wrong, in my opinion. And in the Planning and Zoning Commission, we are very, very careful not to communicate anything about any topic among ourselves. It's the law. But the gray areas where, I just stopped in to ask him what he thought about it. Absolutely not. Not. If you hold a public position that your opinion will be shaped by any piece of information, that information needs to be publicly available to everyone. And if you can't hold polite, courteous public meetings, you shouldn't be in office. I'm sorry, but that's my point. You can have, and I have to say that I admire my colleagues, past and present, in the Planning and Zoning Commission for how we handle even very difficult situations.
The last topic I have for you, Merav, today, it boundaries equality and human rights.
Yes.
With respect to that topic, what influence do you want to be as Albany County Commissioner?
So one of the responsibilities of the commission is supervising the sheriff's office and ensuring that the sheriff and deputies and everyone working in that office follow the law. City laws, county laws, state laws, national laws. We have multiple layers. It's not easy, by the way. But I think a key point is making sure that our law enforcement follows the law, but also realizes our rights. And I have to say that so far I had excellent experience with both the Sheriff's Office and the Laramie City Police in respect to freedom of speech. I am part of the 50-51 organizing committee. Eric Boss and I have been here to advertise one of our big protests and talk to you and your listeners about that. And we have had excellent support from both the Laramie Police and the Sheriff's Office in terms of facilitating peaceful and respectful protests in Albany County. And I think that is huge, that we have the freedom of speech and our First Amendment right, and we are protected by our law enforcement to be able to do that. I also really appreciate the current sheriff and Laramie Police in their following the guidelines of respectful and lawful enforcement of the law. Compared to other counties in Wyoming, we do not have a 287G agreement with ICE. I think ICE treats people in unimaginable cruelty that I would not want to see in Albany County, and definitely as a commissioner will make sure doesn't happen in Albany County. If there are people breaking the law, we should make sure that they are treated as the law requires. But again, detainees get all the respect and needs. Many people that commit crimes, unfortunately, are mentally ill, and they should deserve the health care and the attention they need rather than just be punished. I don't really believe in punishment, even though it's needed in cases. It should be done in the right way. I don't like having detainees die in under custody. I would like to see us offer solutions to people. And one thing that I've also been here and talked to you about before, a long time ago, in January, I think, or maybe even last year, is animal cruelty. Many of the crimes we see around are perpetrated by people who also are cruel to animals, wildlife and domestic animals. I am part of the Wyoming Coalition of Animal Protection. I'm the treasurer, and we have had a lot of animal cruelty cases. We are statewide, so not everything was just in Albany County, but a lot of cruelty cases, hoarding cases, puppy mills, horse neglect, starvations. We even have a case here in Albany County that we deal both with rapid response on the ground, trying to help the shelters and laws and other organizations in rescuing animals, putting people in touch, help animal transport, things like that. We do help that. But also, one of the things we're trying to do is change the laws in the state of Wyoming. Our laws, we are one of the worst states, despite being, wildlife, horses, we are the cowboys, right? Some of the worst laws in terms of animal protection. And so we are trying to change that as well. And one of the biggest issues is prosecution. Again, most of the perpetrators have mental illness, so there are other ways to deal with them, not just throw them in prison, but actually taking action on cruelty cases. And that is the responsibility of the county attorney and the county attorney office.
Yeah,
to indict.
the victim in wildlife matters or in animal cruelty cases, the victim doesn't speak for itself and doesn't have representation in lawyers, right?
Correct. So that's where we come in, and as a county commissioner, supporting the attorney's office in indicting and prosecuting cruelty cases is key. It sends the message that we value the ecosystem and all its components, just like we value people. And we should. I mean, horrendous stories coming out of the boys' facility that, if you do this to animal, you do this to kids. It's just absolutely horrific. And we need, as a county commissioner, you can help the prosecution. It turns out in many cases are not prosecuted because the prosecutors don't have the support they need to follow through. So that's, as a commissioner, I can address that as well.
Merav Ben David, our guest today on the Candidate Awareness Tour 2026, here at the Talk Shop in Studio 255 at the Laramie Plains Civic Center. Merav, I want to give you the last word. You obviously prepared for many things. I probably only asked a fraction of those. What did you want to make sure that you close today's segment with our audience without leaving? You want to make sure you cover it before you go. Anything you want to close with?
Just that I feel I'm in a position right now with all my experience in science, as a teacher, as a mentor, and as a public servant. And given the challenges we are facing in Albany County, I think I'm a very viable, I'd be humble and say I'm a viable candidate. And I would appreciate if people shared their concerns with me. Every time I turn a corner, there is something I didn't know. So hearing from people, having people engage. I have a campaign coming up next week where we are going to we will ask voters to engage and tell us what's important to them. I won't tell you how because it's a surprise. If it works, I will come back and tell you how I did it. But yes, hearing from people, I think.
Do you like people to email you or call you?
Email, text,
what do you prefer? Go to your website. What's your website?
bendavid2020.com. Still the old one I had from the Senate campaign. We're upgrading
Recycle,
it.
reuse, repurpose.
Look, I've maintained it thinking that I might need it again, and I have used it again in 2022.
You know what? Your political ideas probably came together greatly in 2020 and continue forward, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from that effort for sure. And so I'm asking people, contact me, let me know, respond to my campaign next week. I really do appreciate it. And
what day are you looking at? What day of the week? Is that a surprise
it will
too?
not be time limited.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Open in. All right.
Yeah.
Open door.
Open door. And always anybody can tell me new things I didn't know. I've learned a lot sitting on the Planning and Zoning Commission. Things I never thought about before. But there are issues that are important. They can be handled if we have the information and the right motivation.
Merav Ben David, your candidate for Albany County Commissioner in 2026, running on the Democratic ticket. And if you should have those questions, bendavid2020.com.